A common complaint I get when someone comes to me as a new patient is that people say they're exhausted all the time and they want to know what they can do to feel better. And so what I find is that exhaustion often has multiple underpinnings. Hormone deficiency is a common underpinning. So I definitely start with a very thorough hormone profile. So I'm screening for deficiencies of thyroid and adrenal cortical hormones. And then the typical things you want to screen for are, you want to screen for anemia, make sure someone's not anemic. You want to screen for B12 deficiency as well. And then usually if you can balance someone's hormones, you can get their energy up at least a little bit right away, if not all the way up, if that's the primary cause of their fatigue. The other cause of fatigue and exhaustion are infections. And so sometimes you have to go on a bit of a hunt, and you can look for localizing signs and symptoms of infection. But typically I will test for reactivated viruses like reactivation of Epstein-Barr, human herpes virus 6, cytomegalovirus. I will often test for tick-borne pathogens such as Borrelia, Bartonella, Babesia, or Leaky, and some other chronic bacterial pathogens such as Mycoplasma or Chlamydia. And then sometimes someone has gut dysbiosis that's very severe. And so they have potentially a parasite in the gut, a protozoan parasite, an amoeba, or a worm, or maybe they have a bad bacteria that's growing, or a fungal overgrowth in the gut. And in any of those cases, they're fatigued because of the infection and because of the immune activation against the infection that could be contributing to the development of leaky gut, where the intestinal wall becomes inflamed, and then you get the leakage of toxins into the system. And then sometimes people are exhausted because of an autoimmune process. And typically, the first two things I described, hormone imbalance and infections, underlie the development of autoimmunity. So the thorough workup is necessary to sort it all out. But sometimes if there is an autoimmune process, then you need to particularly focus on adrenal cortical hormone restoration while you're treating the underlying infection to get everything to calm down. And when it does, then the energy improves. Of course, you do want to look at lifestyle factors. So I want to make sure that someone's sleep quality is good, that they're getting enough sleep. I want to make sure that they're eating foods that are compatible for their system. They're not eating foods they're allergic to. They're not overindulging in macronutrients that are too much for their body to handle, such as too many carbohydrates, for example. And I also want to make sure that they're not under eating things that they need for energy production in the body, such as carbohydrates. So sometimes people are exhausted because they are under eating carbohydrates. Then I would say the rest of the causes of exhaustion are more obscure, but sometimes it's a toxic insult that's leading to exhaustion. Sometimes it's a long COVID type situation or a vaccine injury, and we can sort these things out. But the rest of the things are far more common and a good place to start.